You must believe today that living in worry and living in fear and living in anxiety is not God's highest plan for your life. What is God's plan for your life? Help me out, church. What is God's plan for your life? Peace. Jesus said, I give you peace. So that's God's. You got to believe that that's true for you. The second thing that's necessary is you've got to get right with God. Okay, this is always essential. This is what happened with Gideon. He had to reestablish his relationship with God. Israel had to reestablish her relationship with God. And the same is true for you and me. If you're walking away from God, you're not going to have any peace, okay? If you're living life your own way and you're disregarding God, not going to have any peace. Don't try to be disobedient and peaceful at the same time. Just doesn't work, okay? So you have to get lined back up with God again. Say, Lord, I'm coming back. Here's the beautiful thing. If you're walking away from God today, all you need to do is turn around and walk right back to Him. You don't have to worry whether He's going to accept you or not. He's already said, if you'll come back to me, I'll receive you into myself. And so there's this choice that we make to come back to God, and maybe there's someone here today or someone listening today that's where you are. You have no peace in your life because you've been walking a distance from God. So get right with God. Come back to God today. Here's the next thing that's necessary. You and I need to open our heart and mind to a new perspective of our problems, and that perspective needs to be God's perspective. This is exactly what happened with Gideon. He's in this little cave. He's threshing out a little bit of food for his family. He's afraid. He's worried. How am I going to take care of my family? And he's living in this cave of darkness. And God shows up and says, oh, mighty man of valor. Now think about that for a moment. Would that make you scratch your head? Who are you talking to? You're certainly not talking to me, right? I don't feel very much like a mighty man of valor, but God saw something in Gideon that Gideon didn't see in himself. And God called Gideon to be something that Gideon never thought he could be himself. And there in that moment, God speaks to Gideon and He says, I want to give you a new perspective. You feel like you're defeated. I say you're a mighty warrior. You see the perspective of the Midian stealing from you, but I want you to rise up and to make a stand against the enemy of Israel, and I will be with you, and there will be victory. I want your perspective to change. Let me tell you this morning, you heard me say it before. You've probably said it before yourself or heard others say it. God is bigger than any problem you have in your life, okay?